Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and I am super excited because it is time for a new series of Minecraft Exploration and Tactics, Season 8, which you may recognize a bit of because it's a lot like Season 7. We are continuing in the space-barred world, but we are switching this back to exploration and tactics because I have completed all of the goals of space-barred. And so just to very quickly recap for anyone who may be new, in space-barred, I set myself the goal of getting all of the achievements in the game that one would get on the achievements menu without ever pressing the spacebar to jump or swim. And they've all been gotten. That goal has been achieved. And in Spacebarred, we had a few other restrictions as well. We started out with a small world, and the world border was kind of doubling as we got more achievements. But now the world border... Is the world border still in effect, actually? I think it is, maybe. If I do world border get... Yeah, it's currently 40,000 blocks out, and I haven't seen it in a long time. So I don't think we really need to worry about it. $11.10 to Child's Play charity each death. I think I died 3 times during Spacebarred, and so donated $33 via Kurt's Farlands or Bust. And actually, I think some people matched donations, and I saw in a recent video that I think it was Peter the Cat donated something once I completed the whole thing, and so thank you for that. And yeah, to everyone who's done kind of like matching donations or other kinds of support to Farlands or Bust and Child's Play charity as a result of anything that I've been doing. No helmets, and so I haven't been wearing helmets up until now, and I also wasn't wearing any leggings that I didn't get off of zombie drops, and no jumping or swimming. And yes, these restrictions are gone now. I may continue to do the donation each time I die, just because that's nice. I like to keep, you know, supporting Kurt J. Mack and Farlands or Bust charity, Child's Play charity. But at the same time, I am ready to jump all around and do more science. We have a lot of things already going in this world, but now that I have the capability of jumping and swimming, there's a lot more things I'd like to do. We have ocean monuments we can try to tackle. There's more science with rabbits that I've got penned in down there that I'd like to do. And there's also some science that came as a result of the previous episode. And in the previous episode, I showed on the screen, I was trying to remember how many times I had died, and so I went to the statistics menu and was scrolling down to check out that number of deaths, 3, and people pointed out something that I didn't see, which was jumps, 2,494, which seems pretty weird for a series where I couldn't jump. And so I want to find out why that is. It's not the case that I was jumping off camera or doing any things like that. And so I expect that something like, you know, like going up steps or something, the game incorrectly thinks that you're jumping. But I want to do some science to figure that out. But before we do that, I thought one of the things I wanted to verify, someone asked, I built this monument in creative mode before I actually started the Spacebarred series. And so someone asked maybe when I was flying around in creative mode, like some of that flying around counted as jumps. And so I think I could just do this on screen. If I go back to the main menu, I loaded the backups. I do backups after each episode of Spacebarred. Ooh, it's still called Season 7 of the world, and now it's Season 8. I guess I can live with that. I keep backups after each episode, and so if I go back to the backup after episode 1... where we just started going downstairs, and I take a look at the statistics there, jumps are 13, and if I take a look at the backup after episode 2, right here, I've already looked at these two. These are the only 2 I looked at, and I was kind of further down in my cave system that we were exploring, and here, jumps are 31, and so somehow I already managed to get, like, what is that, 18 more jumps during episode 2? And so my guess is that it's something like, you know, just going up things like that, perhaps get counted as jumps or something. That still says jumps 31. And so we could see if my jumps increase from 31 at all when I am just kind of walking around. Maybe going up and down ladders could possibly count as jumps. We're just kind of reduplicating some work over in the episode 2 world, but that's okay. There was crazy, I guess that was just a lava spark coming off of the lava. I was going to say I saw some crazy particle effect there. Statistics, jumps are still 31. Let's try a few things out and just see if we can get that jump counter to actually go up one. What happens if I kind of like fall down off of here over the ladder or do something like that? Would that get counted as a jump if I'm kind of like falling off the ladder like that or something? I may end up making some cuts here as I try some things out because I have no idea how many different little experiments I will have to do before I hit on a particular set of motions that causes the game to register a jump even though I haven't actually jumped. Yeah, so maybe I'll walk around and see if I can actually figure out how to replicate something. Okay, the jumps are now 36. So something I just did there. Let's do this again. What are my jumps now? That's still 36. That's still 36. What did I just do? Because it was 31 a minute ago, and I did something like walking over here and walking back, but I'm not sure exactly which ways I walked. Now it's still 36. Oh man, that's going to frustrate me. I should maybe go replay that video. I was just reviewing the video from a moment ago, and I really have no clue what it was that I did that caused the jumps to increase. I did start over here. I was coming up off the ladder before I went on to some of the... Okay, we're still at 36 jumps. Onto some of the slabs, and I think I also kind of like paused briefly on some slabs or something. And so after doing that, has that changed the number of jumps? It's still 36 there. And then I kind of walked around here. I'm really not sure what I did. My experience in general with the statistics feature... Oh, now it's 38. So I just managed to do that again somehow. Let's try if I just stand here for a moment. What if I just went down halfway? What if I go like back up? That still says 38. If I go down here and up here and up here. My experience with the statistics feature in general, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's possible that my memory is at fault here, if I'm remembering correctly, it seems to me that achievements in statistics were features that were added in like beta 1.5 or 1.6. And these were some of the last versions that Notch, the original programmer for Minecraft, worked on. And I felt like he was kind of already checking out because those were some of the worst Minecraft version upgrades or whatever that there had been. And they were riddled with bugs. And the statistics feature is a feature that, in my experience as a map maker, when I've tried to use it for different scoreboard things and different things, is actually has lots of bugs in terms of how a lot of these things register. And so unless someone's ever filed the bug or really scrutinized the feature, it tends not to work very well. And yeah, I'm really not sure what I did. I've been kind of stuck at 38 now for a while here. What if I fall down more than one, if I go down like 1.5 blocks and then climb back up? That's still 38. What if I go from like a half slab to a half slab kind of below like that? Is it something with me climbing from like here to here really quickly? That's still at 38. I really have no idea how I did this before. And I don't think it involved me coming from the ladder. But let's do that again and kind of walk over here and pause in a couple of places, just trying to replicate what I did. And I have a number of other experiments that I want to test as well, because I have a number of other guesses of possibly how this thing might... okay, 39. So somewhere in there we got another jump. In any case, the point is, it is the case that the statistics are measuring things wrong. I wasn't jumping off camera or any stuff like that. I did have my jump key remapped the entire time during the first 23 episodes. How long did Spacebars last? That previous season of Exploration and Tactics, it was so long ago. Really, who remembers? And so there are certain motions that just kind of accidentally get picked up as jumps, even though they're not actually jumps. And so I think let's go ahead, let's get out of this world, or that backup copy of the world, and let's go into the fresh recent copy. And let's see how many jumps we have currently here. We have 2,496. And so one thing I want to test is getting up onto a horse, because I could imagine possibly that one of the buggy ways that it could have been implemented is like if the player goes up a block in a certain amount of time or something like that. And so I can imagine that hopping up into a horse could count as a jump. And since I've had horses, I've gotten up and down off of them a lot of times. Okay, so it ends in 96 right now. If I hop onto the horse and then take a look at my statistics, it still ends in 96. And I'm also curious, let's go ahead and put the saddle on the horse. If with riding the horse around or whatever, the horse can kind of like go up vertically pretty quickly, kind of like climbing things. And so possibly that could register as a jump. I guess we can't go up against the vines necessarily here to climb up. But let's see if... No, we're still at 2496 here as well. All right, well, try as I might, I didn't do anything on the horse that managed to increase my jump counter at all, but I do have a number of other things that I'd like to test as well. For example, we had the little pig pen down here, where we have a bunch of happy piggies that I could fall down into, and then I could right-click on the minecart, and then hit shift in order to hop out of the minecart as a way to advance up a couple of blocks. And so I wonder if that has altered our jump count. No, it hasn't. And I'm just going to try it multiple times just in case there's anything weird that happens and it only registers at certain points in time. Nope, that doesn't seem to be the case either. So that's really interesting. Someone else pointed out items dropped as only 12 seemed low to them. Most of the time, I think by default, the drop key is Q. I have mine remapped to P so that I rarely press it. It's way over on the other side of the keyboard. And so I think that one is probably correct. Yeah, that one just increased to 13 when I just purposely dropped an item. I almost never drop items. I rarely throw anything away. And so unless I was dropping items on camera, like onto a pressure plate for something, like it's something I almost never do. And so I could very easily imagine that we could go through 23 episodes over a few months, and I never ended up pressing the drop key more than 12 times. So I think that one is reasonable. And yeah, I should take a little bit of time also to scrutinize the rest of the statistics and see if any of them look reasonable or unreasonable. Let's see, fish caught, junk fish, treasure fish. That sounds about right. I did a little bit of off-camera fishing at different points when I was bored. Talk to villagers 4. Yeah, that sounds about right as well, because we just had one village that we kind of went through. And distant swum is definitely an interesting one because... Okay, let's test that one out, actually. It says 1.87 kilometers. Obviously, I couldn't swim pressing the space bar in the previous season, but I wonder if I just do things like fall into the water and then walk underwater up on my slabs in order to get back to the surface. We were at 1.87. Will that have increased now? Distant swum is still 1.87. That's kilometers. So I'd need to go at least 10 meters for that to increase visibly. And so let's kind of fall deeper into the water. Do I have half slabs over here? I do not. Okay, so I'm going to have to swim once. So I press the space bar there to swim because we're in Exploration and Tactics Season 8 and I can do such things. But I just want to see after like swimming one tiny block and then doing that, if that's going to increase. That did go to 1.88. And so I think if I do this again without pressing the space bar and I land over here and kind of walk around underwater over here, or possibly like fall down through the water a few times over there, we'll maybe see that increase to 1.89. Let's see if it's already increased. Yeah, it's already 1.89. I didn't press the space bar again. And so apparently walking around underwater potentially counts as distant swum. So it might just be like moving while your head is in water is what's actually getting measured there. Yeah, looking through the rest of the statistics, nothing else really jumps out at me. Distance by horse, 124 kilometers. We did a lot of exploring in the previous season of Exploration and Tactics in order to find all the biomes and finally get the Adventuring Time achievement. And let's see, were there any other ways that I could test out my various jumping hypotheses? Let me review them. I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep, and then we'll move on to something else, another piece of science that I would like to try based on something that we saw in the previous Spacebarred episode as well. So another thing I wanted to test was stairs. I'm currently at 2498. And if I go up stairs rather than half slabs, and I don't know, just kind of walk up and down them and kind of like do various little hops and different kind of things around here, does that change my jump statistics? Still 2498. Just want to experiment with this a little bit as well, because that was another thing that I was thinking about before I started recording this episode. What are all the possible things that might somehow get counted as jumps? Water streams is the other thing. That's right. I wanted to see both kind of like coming out of water like this, but also if you had moving water streams, because we had the thing where if you have a corner water stream, it can actually make the player appear as though they're jumping, even when you're not pressing any of the keys. So let me go set that up. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's definitely one of them. Jumps are currently at 2,500. I have my hands completely off the keyboard, and you see we make a little hop there when we come out of the corner water stream. And if I go check the statistics, oh, now jumps are still at 2,500. I just did this and it increased my jumps a moment ago. Haven't pressed the space bar at all there. That still says 2,500. Interesting. I also did it by having myself be pressed into the corner. Now all of a sudden it's 2,502. Maybe they only update, this is interesting, maybe they only update like every 5 or 10 seconds or something, and so not only does it have to think that you jumped, but like some certain amount of time has to pass. In any case, if I break this block, once again, I never pressed the space bar there, but you saw as I got to the corner water stream and kind of fell out of the edge of it, it ended up kind of pressing me up into the air. And it still hasn't registered as a jump. I'm going to wait a little bit of time just to see if the time passing thing seems... Oh yeah, 2,503. I did kind of crawl up a stair there. Okay, let's try this again. So I didn't press the space bar there. Still says 2,503. I'm just going to stand completely still, but wait for like 20 seconds, and then check the statistics again. You can tell I'm excited about doing science, trying to test out the game mechanics here, because... it's really interesting to me. I'm trying to imagine what the programming looks like. 2,504, okay. So it's definitely the case that the statistics do not get updated in real time. Instead, maybe every 10 seconds or something, it seems like it updates them. Or something along those lines. And so this little thing does get registered as a jump, but it doesn't necessarily show up immediately on the statistics. Still 2,504. If I wait another 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still 2,504. 3, 2, 1. Now it's 2,505. So yeah, it seems like maybe about 10 seconds has to pass before the statistics get updated. So that's really interesting. And then there was a way to get like caught in this corner water stream. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe it was if it was like this. Or with the half slab here, because I was probably doing things with the half slabs. If I put a half slab here. No, then it just kicks me out. What if I have the half slab here as well? No, then it just pushes me out. If I had a block here. There was a way that we got kind of just like completely caught in this water stream, so that it just kind of kept pushing me and pushing me up and down the corner like I was continually jumping, and I can't seem to... Maybe I had the half slabs there, but then I had other blocks on top of them? No. Oh, that was pretty good. I got like 3 jumps out of that before it finally pushed me out. Yeah, I don't remember. In any case, at some point in the past, we got caught in a corner water stream, and I could basically have my hands off the keyboard, and this time I'll actually press the space bar, but I just kind of kept jumping up and down in the water. And so definitely that motion seems to register as a jump, even without pressing the space bar. Still never figured out what was doing it with the slabs before. And I guess I have to wait like 10 seconds before I start any more of these tests that I want to try out in order to understand exactly what was going on. Let me try out a couple more things, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, I think I figured it out now that I know about the latency. So I'm at 2530. Let me try climbing some ladders. And now I'll wait 10 seconds or so that the statistics have a chance to catch back up. And what do you suppose our jump counter is going to be? 2537. And did we climb 7 ladders? 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually. Interesting. Are we still at 2537? We're at 2537. Let's see if climbing these ladders gives me 7 more. And so maybe it's because I was standing on a block, and then when I'm on the ladders, I'm not standing on a block. And then up here, I'm standing on a block again, and I've gone 7, but now I've only got... In any case, I just registered 7 more jumps. And so I think that has got to be the major reason. And that was back when we were first testing this in the caves. The few times that I was registering jumps was when I was climbing ladders. And the problem was I just didn't notice until 10 seconds later when I was walking across some half slabs. And so I was attributing it to the slabs, but it was actually the ladders. So apparently climbing ladders counts as jumps as far as statistics is concerned. And so ladders can do jumps. Corner water streams that give you the appearance of jumping can register as jumps, and perhaps there are some more things as well. I wonder, I might be able to like bang up against a cactus and like take some damage, and like you get kind of like knocked back into the air a tiny bit or whatever. Maybe that would count as a jump. In any case, I've kind of beaten this horse to death. In general, someone pointed out that statistic, and I just wanted to both show that I wasn't cheating off camera as well as do the science, because it's always interesting to test the game mechanics and try to understand the underlying programming, because that's what I enjoy about Minecraft exploration and tactics and doing science. Yeah. All right, let's move on to something else. Another piece of science from the previous episode that involves me traveling over there. So let's take the sky rail out to the east. The sky darkens for whatever reason when you get in a minecart. It's a crazy town. But in the final episode of Spacebarred, after we'd gotten all the achievements and we were headed back in this direction, it was the case that I saw something underwater that seemed like it was a box. And afterwards, people were speculating that it was... Sometimes when you're underwater, you'll see like a kind of air bubble underwater that I've seen people speculate are as a result of like dungeons trying to form or something like that underwater. And I actually know what they are, or what they were, and so that's something that we're going to check out. There's a ton of pumpkins over there that always make me wonder, what is that? We have not seen that before. That was interesting. All right, we have something else we need to check out now on the way back. What was that? Oh my goodness. Yes. In any case, it takes a while to ride the sky rail. That is so crazy. It takes a while to ride the sky rail over here, so I'll meet you guys over at the ocean. So here's the end of the sky rail, and I think I can hop off, and yeah, the minecart, yes, is not going to go sailing off into the distance, and so that's great. And I've got the ladder here that I used to get back up. But basically, we'd come across this ocean. You can hear me pressing the space bar. I'm so excited I could jump. Woohoo! We'd come across this ocean, but just as I was first getting into this ocean over here, I saw something under... Oh, I saw one of those air bubble boxes, it looked like, underwater. And usually, it is the case that those would form above the dirt floor room in an abandoned mine shaft in old terrain generation. I'm actually now currently playing in 1.8.1, and it was in version 1.8.1 of Minecraft that they actually changed and fixed that terrain generation bug that caused that air bubble to form above abandoned mine shafts. And it would form not just in the ocean. It could be the case that wherever there was an abandoned mine shaft, yep, you can see it right over there. There's like a box there and a box there and a box there. That is where we are headed. That basically little cubes of air would form above the dirt room of an abandoned mine shaft. But that was fixed in 1.8.1, and so I was surprised to see those out here. But I guess possibly if I had traveled to the edge of this continent that's just kind of like going out of render distance right now. This abandoned mine shaft down here that I've just kind of lost sight of where those air bubbles were. They're probably somewhere below me down here. Well, now that I can swim, haha, ha ha ha, I should be able to just kind of find them below me here, hopefully. I don't know exactly where they were, though, and it's pretty dark. Okay, I'm in F5 mode, and I just managed to find one. Basically, right behind my head, I'm going to move the cursor a little bit. You can just barely see that there's one right there. And so I think I can keep track of it. I can still see it on the screen. Now everything kind of goes dark, but I think if I get over here, I will be right above it pretty soon. I think somewhere right around here, and so if I dive down here, let's go back into first-person mode. Let's see if I can actually find this thing. I should have brought some glowstone. That would have been smart. Or a night vision potion. Yes, all of these things would have been very smart. And of course, I didn't think to do any of them. Let's take a breath. And while I do that, can I actually see the air bubble around me anywhere? Oh yeah, I can. Look at this. I can see it right above me. Okay. So I'm going to swim up into this and verify that it's an air bubble. Just kind of looks like a box here. Yes. Okay. So we've got one of these air bubbles in the ocean. There's actually another one there and another one there. I'm going to swim over to one of the other ones just for funsies. If I can find it. There it is. There we go. So we're inside another air bubble. And so I'm going to go ahead and eat some food straight down from here. And can't really see what's going on, but there we go. Where is the floor of the ocean? Right here. Okay, here is another block that I just placed. And so I should be able to dig down from here. All right, and now we've reached some cobblestone. So I'm going to dig down a couple more blocks. I'm going to grab a little bit more air like that. I'll put some cobblestone above my head. And so if I dig straight down, I believe I hear some water running, and I hear bad guys. Yeah, we're well armed, so I'm not too worried. Sure enough, it is the square dirt floor room of the abandoned mine shaft. And yeah, I think the air bubbles, from what I was reading about the bug report of when it got fixed, basically generated above the entrances to the mine shafts, because basically when a mine shaft gets generated, it generates this room first, and then starts generating tunnels that kind of go off in each of the directions from there. And so indeed, that's exactly what this was, and this must have been terrain that was generated just at the edge of what I could reach and see. I hear a bunch of spiders, and so they're probably cave spiders. And, well, do I want to explore around here? So I think we won't explore this right now. I am kind of curious to explore it, mostly because of the fact that abandoned mine shafts are really good kind of underground places to explore when you're trying to find dungeons and things. And I think I'll also try to like build a little pillar here so that it makes it easy to come back to. So let me just build a pillar back up to the roof. Oops. We just clipped the corner of that underwater air bubble. There we go. All right, now that'll be much easier to find. And where's my boat? It's right over here. Yeah, I never found an abandoned mine shaft during all of Spacebarred, which meant all of the rails I had to build with iron that I mined out, which I had to do a lot of strip mining off of camera without jumping, which was a lot of fun. But I don't really need the rails anymore. I was starting to say, basically, yeah, it's a good place to find dungeons, just because I only found the one dungeon. You'll recall I found one skeleton dungeon when I was trying to fight the Ender Dragon and kind of like losing to him, and then I managed to farm some arrows and farm some better bows and go to the end and finally defeat the Ender Dragon. So that was happy. But that's the only dungeon that I found. Abandoned mine shafts, by virtue of the fact that they kind of stretch in so many directions underground and make it so easy to travel, I often find are one of the best places in order to find more dungeons, and I would like to find more dungeons in this world, because I can imagine having mob spawners will be valuable for a variety of future science projects that we might have here in Exploration and Tactics. Season 8? It's a new season, I think mostly because the name Spacebarred wouldn't fit anymore, and if I was going to change the name of the series, it just makes sense to make a new playlist and give it a new name and stuff like that. And it will change the tenor of the series as well. Before, we had a very definitive goal that everything was kind of focused on, and now I can go back to a bit more just kind of happy-go-lucky style of whatever I'm in the mood to explore and try out will be the things that we will do in Exploration and Tactics here in Season 8. Okay, here's that crazy thing that we have not seen before. And it's nighttime, but I conveniently happen to have a bed in my inventory, because I like to carry around a bed so that I can do things like this. Da-da-da-da! And now it's daytime, hooray. We can pick that back up. I'll go sleep at home in the bed. What do you suppose this thing is? It appears to be a bunch of squares. Some of which, are those just like white banners, I guess? Yes, they're white banners. And they're just kind of hanging there. And then there's a chest here as well. What's inside this chest? Interesting. More banners with various kind of colored dye, I guess all kinds of black and white dye added to them to create certain glyphs that may have some meaning. I wonder if it's somehow related to this. I don't know. Should I take these things out? I'm almost afraid to pick one of these things up. I don't know where this came from. Wink, wink. Yes, I suppose I probably should pick one of these things up, but I'm not sure which of them would be appropriate, so maybe you can let me know in the comments if you have a suggestion about which of these things might be a good first one to take, and perhaps we will eventually discover what this is all about. For right now, it just seems like a crazy mystery that I look forward to solving, perhaps with help from you all. But that'll be something fun in the future as well. Let's go ahead and head back home and see if there's any other things to do today. I was just climbing down the vines from the sky rail, and we learned that ladders count as jumps. Do vines as well? I'm currently at 2633. And if I climb up some of the vines and then go back down, I won't hit the jump key at all. But I'll wait 10 seconds and then see if we've gone up past 2633 in terms of our number of jumps. I think that's probably been enough time. There's still a lot of lag at spawn, I think, because I've got so many farm animals over here. Should probably kill them off at some point so that we get better frame rates. But if I go check out the statistics, 2634, so I at least got one. Maybe I didn't wait long enough for all of them to register. And, okay, so we learned that climbing ladders and climbing vines gets counted as jumps on the statistics menu. We learned that in the past, in Minecraft up through 1.8 terrain generation, whenever you had an abandoned mine shaft, it created some air pockets that generated above the dirt floor room, but we know that that has been fixed in Minecraft 1.8.1, so terrain that's generated after that won't have that particular bug. And we learned that something strange is going on afoot up on the sky rail with a box full of strange glyphs and a strange wall of white banners. And so let me know what you think about that. Let me know, apart from the ocean monuments, ocean monuments and rabbits. There's more experiments with rabbits that I would like to do as well. Apart from those two things, if there are any other 1.8 features, science things you'd like to see me do in the series, because I'm always open to coming up with, more views. Blah, blah, blah. Oh gosh, I hope it doesn't take like more than a few days for like the commentary practice to kind of come back so that I'm able to speak without tripping over my tongue all the time. Let me know if you have any ideas for other science things you want to see me do. I'm sure I'll come up with some on my own. I expect some people would like to see me actually finish the roof of this house, so maybe you can motivate me to do that as well. And in any case, I'm sure I'll come up with a whole bunch of other fun things to do in exploration and tactics moving forward. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and wind things up for today. And just say that I hope, as always, that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again soon for more Minecraft Exploration and Tactics Season 8. Bye-bye.